Good morning. I'm back again, and we are going to learn for the beginners and for the advanced English speaking friends of mine. So let's begin. And before I do, I want to share with you my thoughts and feelings as to what we do and why we do. Our mission is that every Indian should be able to speak good English. Why? Because every Indian, if he speaks English language, he will be able to do business, get a good job or a better job, and do well in life, can associate, make friends, and so much more. So let's progress this mission by our today's video, and it starts with prepositions, right? So I hope you can see me as well as the prepositions. So we are going to do by, until, by the time, and no dash than, that is no later than. So let's do this. Okay, so I hope you noted these. We're going to take them one by one through examples, sentences, right? So let's show you the sentences. These are the 13 sentences which I have written for you. You can have a look. You can see me as well as what I've written for you. Sentence number 1. Now, we are talking about until and by. Now, when you talk of until and by, the main difference is when you use until in a sentence, you're talking of a duration of time. And when you're talking of by, it means a fixed time or by the end of a particular time period. This will be clear when you see these sentences. So let's see. You are able to see the sentences. The first one is I will be at I'll be at the school until noon, or I'll be at the bank until noon. So what we are saying here is there is a time period up to 12 that you will be reaching the bank. And then you can say I will be at the school by noon. So when you say by noon, you have fixed the time, that this is the time by which you will be at the school. The next one is I will be at the school by noon and I'll stay until 5 p.m. I can use another sentence out here. I'll be at the gym by noon and I'll stay until 5 p.m. What it means is that there is a time period I am specifying that up to noon I'll be there in the gym, and then I'll be staying in the gym for the whole afternoon till 5 p.m. So I hope that is clear. So what it means is that when you say by, at, or on, or before, when you use by with, at, on, or before, you're talking of a finite action. That means you're going to reach somewhere, you're going to do something, you're going to do some activity which is finite, which is definite, right? And until is used when you are in a continuous state of action. You're not finished as yet, right? Let's continue with our next sentence. I'll finish my project work until 5 p.m. Now, is this right? No, as I've written out there, it is not, because the project is being finished by a definite time, 5 p.m. So it is not right to say that. I would rather say I'll finish my project at 5 p.m. Next sentence, I'll work on my project until 5. It's perfectly fine. So there is a time period up to which you will be working, and that will be ending at 5. I'll have completed my work by 5 is fine as well. I'll have completed my work by 5. Now this is a future perfect case, okay? And I go further and give you one more sentence. By the time she arrived, he had already left. By the time she arrived, he had already left. Now, he had already left is an example of past perfect. Past perfect. Next sentence, she waited in the car until he came. He waited in the car until he came. Next one, we are using in this sentence, as you can see, both until and by. Another example, until he comes. Until he comes, she can sit in the lobby. Until she comes, she can sit in the lobby. Right? So these are the sentences. You can have a look. You can take a picture and you can take a shot and you can do them, revise them. In case of any difficulty whatsoever you have, you can write in the comment box. I will be more than happy to deal with any issue you have on the today's topic of prepositions. Right, so we move on, and now we are going to do something as we already do for the advanced learners. This is a small piece of article I've taken from the editorial of today's Hindustan Times. So let's go for it. And you can see me as well as what I've written out here. As you can see, I'm going to read it for you. The real battle in Bihar. That is the main topic. Now, my viewers and my friends, you must appreciate battle means a small area in which a contest is going on between two adversaries or two parties opposing each other. And where do you use this word war? War is between bigger parties, countries, continents, and so on and so forth. So battle is used especially for a small area. Elections are taking place in Bihar, not in India, so we use battle. The real battle in Bihar. The subtitle is the ability to retain one's base and win over adverse social groups is key. What is the writer trying to tell you? Saying that the political parties who are contesting the Bihar elections, their ability to retain their own base means their voter base, the number of votes they are going to win as compared to the last year. If they have to retain that base of last year, they have to win over adverse social groups. Now, social groups, adverse means those people who are not in their favor. They have to work out strategies, and they have to work out activities and strategies in such a manner that they are able to win those groups too. Only then they will be able to retain or enhance their last year's voter base, right? So let's move on further, and I hope you can read. I've written capital letters out here. The main piece of the article starts now. The political contour in the Bihar elections are now clear. The political contours in the Bihar elections are now clear. We'll take this word contour later, as I marked many words in this. Please mark them. Please look at the words which I have marked. I will discuss them one by one later. On one side is the NDA, the National Democratic Alliance of many parties, and on the other is the Grand Alliance, that the BJP and other parties. Right? So these are the two groups, and we use this in this manner. I'll say it again. On one side is the NDA and the other parties. On the other is the Grand Alliance. So these are the two warring or contesting parties, groups of parties. They are contesting the Bihar elections. Despite strenuous denials by the BJP, the speculation that it encourages the LJP, Jan Shakti, refuses to fade away. What it means is that despite strenuous, I'm going to explain despite and strenuous later on, denials is not agreeing to by the BJP, the speculation I will discuss later, that it encouraged the LJP, refuses to fade away, means it was encouraging LJP anyway, and that is very much established in the minds of the voters, and it just refuses to go away from their minds, right? It's firmly ensconced, firmly in the minds of the voters. It's just stuck out there, it's not leaving. This may come across as a rather fragmented, I hope you can read everything clearly. This may come across as a rather fragmented political landscape, especially since Bihar has been largely bipolar. Bipolar means there are two main factions, and there are no third, fourth, smaller parties. So there are only two major factors. Either of them are likely to win. Just like the Democrats and the Republicans in the USA, so USA is also bipolar, two poles. Okay. Now let's discuss the words one by one. I'm showing you the whole. You can take a picture. I'm showing you the whole write-up so that you can see the words which the new words which will add to your vocabulary. I am going to now discuss one by one. So I hope you have taken the picture for later reference. So let's begin. The first one is adverse. Now what does adverse? Mark the pronunciations also. So it's a multi-benefit program for you I have made, and I hope you appreciate that. So first is adverse. Adverse means preventing success or development. Preventing success or development, fairly simple. Or which is something which is harmful or unfavorable, right? I'll give you an example. Taxes are having adverse effect on the production. Taxes are having an adverse effect on production. Quite clear? Contour. The pronunciation of the next word is C-O-N-T-O-U-R. Contour. Contour. That's right. And contour means an outline of something. An outline of something. I'll give you an example. She traced the contour of his face by her fingers. She traced the contour of his face by her fingers. And another example is the road contours the hillside. Means the road makes an outline around the hillside. So this is another way of expressing the word contour. Beautiful word. Next is despite. Without being affected. Without being affected or in spite of. That is the meaning. And the example is he remains a great leader despite his age and lack of experience. He remains a great leader despite his age and lack of experience. Right? The second meaning of despite is when somebody is showing a negative behavior or treatment to somebody. So the example could be the despite done by him to the holy relics. The despite done by him to the holy relics. That kind of a behavior is not acceptable. It's negative behavior. Despite. The third meaning which I found out was when you show some contempt or disdain, that is dislike of something. The theater earns my despite. The theater earns my despite. Excuse me. Next word I'm giving you is strenuous, means which requires great effort. Example, the government made strenuous efforts to upgrade the quality of education in the country. The government made strenuous efforts to upgrade the quality of education in the country. Now, the next word is speculation. The forming of a theory or a conjecture without firm evidence. That if you don't have any evidence, you just make out something. There has been widespread speculation that he plans to resign. There has been widespread speculation that he plans to resign. Landscape, distinctive feature of any activity. For example, the event transformed the political landscape. Wonderful. It's always been a pleasure to be with you until I meet you again. Goodbye.